Hello and welcome back to another conversation. My name is Christopher Munn, former publisher of The Observer in Northwest Dutchess, and currently a county legislator representing Red Oak, Tivoli, in the northern part of Rhinebeck in the Dutchess County Legislature. Today's guest is Mayor Gary Bassett of the village of Rhinebeck. But before we start, just let me ask you, please take a moment, click subscribe, follow, like, whatever, if you want to see more of these. And if you have any suggestions for guests you'd like to hear from or questions you'd like asked, don't hesitate to reach out. So, Mayor Bassett, how
Hey,
are
how
things
are you?
going in, hey, how you doing? So how are things going in the village of Rhinebeck?
Well, I'm happiest March. How's that?
Yeah,
Right?
it's been quite an icy February.
We're on the downhill side of winter.
Uh-huh.
Hopefully, the cold month of February, hopefully are getting past us. So I'm kind of looking forward to spring finally coming and getting a little bit warmer.
I guess that groundhog was correct after all.
I know. Damn groundhog.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, things are fine.
So,
We got a lot on our plate. We're moving ahead. We got a very aggressive schedule in front of us to get get to really try to bring together for the next year to 2 years. The way I like to describe it is we've gone from the planning and the financials and the studies and all that kind of stuff to getting grants to be able to now execute on some major projects going forward. We just totally redid our comprehensive plan. Um, if you saw what we had in 1993, it had good bones, but bare minimum. But it needed a major overhaul from 1993. Uh, I remember the day I found it in a pile of paper uh, that was stacked up in the corner of one of the places, and I had to blow the dust off of it.
no.
Right. So the comprehensive plan, it came out great. So we spent 2.5 years
Uh-huh.
revamping the comprehensive plan, and that was with a lot of people participating. It's talking about, if you think about in the 1950s and 60s when all villages and cities and whatever were built based around cars, and buildings came down and parking lots went up, and all of that convenience to get you in a car and get you to where you needed to go to be in front of where you needed to be was all built into that infrastructure back then. And we're trying to take that back. We're going to take it back in terms of the way, though, that we're preserving parking, right? Because you need to have that parking space, but also providing a lot of infill to make housing more affordable, bring diversity back in and lower the cost with affordability, and make that a vibrant community, because a vibrant community really depends on having a lot of diversity in your community, but also having that look and feel of what a village should look like. So it's going to be exciting, creating green spaces, creating more accessory dwellings, creating more infill.
So in terms of like something specific or tangible, in terms of housing costs or housing inventory, what sort of changes or improvements might we see based in that area?
So think about it. Back in 2001, 2003, somewhere in that range, the
Uh-huh.
lot sizes were changed to 8,000 square feet. So you
Uh-huh.
get a lot of large homes on a lot of large lots,
Uh-huh.
right? One of the things we want to change is bring that back down to 5,000 feet. So we can reduce a lot and create more capacity, more room for additional housing. You can take spaces that were once, you know, one house sitting on, and if that changes over time, now you maybe put 4 or 5 apartment units in it.
Huh.
We're thinking about adding more accessory, giving the ability to have more accessory dwelling units, ADUs, so that
Uh-huh.
there's more rental, better use of green spaces. We found in our studies that people like to have that green space where they can go have a picnic lunch that's in the community, that's in the center of the village. We have a park, right? We're going to keep the parks and keep them and revitalize them, but we need to also create some green spaces back into the village.
That sounds great. More infill, more units. That's going to obviously increase foot traffic, also good for business, also good for the retailers. And we all know retail is very difficult these days with all the online purchasing and things like that.
Yep.
So that it'll be good for that, as well as, hopefully, while it's unlikely we'll see rent prices decline, but maybe they won't increase as quickly if we have more inventory, because more inventory, it helps take pressure off the prices.
Exactly. So we were fortunate. I'm going to keep going here. We were fortunate. Last year, the feds came out with a TAP grant, transportation grant. Guess what their focus was? Their focus was safe routes to school. We've been approved for a $1.6 million federal grant to create safe routes to school. We're going to be creating more than a mile of sidewalk here that will connect the village center to not only our high school, middle school, but also our elementary school, and put sidewalks where there were no sidewalks ever, so that our kids can safely get to school on the sidewalks and be able to get to and from their activities and really want safely. It's a $2 million project. Our commitment was $400,000. And part of that grant.
When would it start?
I want to be able to start this year.
Okay.
The goal originally was to be in construction by the spring of 2025. That's going to be delayed a little bit. So I'm hoping by summer we're going to be starting to get into construction to be able to get that process underway. And then it will take a year and a half to be able to complete. So climate change. Let's talk about climate change. Want to talk about climate change?
Sure.
Who doesn't think climate change has impacted them, right? Nobody's going to raise their hands. All right. Our storm drain system, again, no fault of anybody else. It was built with the best information everybody had at the time they had it, based on the situation. Our storms are more intense.
The more precipitation, that's what's one of the key hallmarks of this. It's whether it's more snow, more rain, whatever it is, it's more of it is what we're going to get.
Right. So
up here, where we are.
We've identified a lot of deficiencies. So now we need to go forward and say, how can we fix these deficiencies in our storm drainage system? All right. So going forward. So there's a lot. And like any municipality, I don't think we're any different. I think all of the municipalities, especially here in our quadrant and that you're a part of, are all doing the same thing to be able to get this to all come together. So I'm excited.
Yeah, well, that does sound like you got a lot of irons in the fire, as they say. Looking forward to seeing some of these projects come to fruition over the next few years. I'm a big, I spent a lot of time on the planning board, zoning board, and working for the Centers and Green Spaces plans up here in Red Hook, which have similar infill patterns to what you're working with in the village. That sounds like a fantastic evolution for the future of Rhinebeck, along with the increasing density. So I appreciate you coming on with me. It's always good to talk with you. While you're technically not in my legislative district, you're just over the border to the south.
Right over the tip of it. Yep.
I'm always here for you as well, as my colleagues at the county legislature are always happy to work with you and other elected officials here in Dutchess County to try to improve our municipalities, improve what's going on. So
I'd like to give a shout out to Brennan Kearney, who is our legislative, right, and all the work that she does as well to help us.
Absolutely.
So, I know you and Brennan work very closely together. So it's really great to have this communication and have people that you can go to get if you need help to go to. So, and that's what we need to do. If we don't work together, it ain't going to happen. We can't accomplish these things alone.
I agree. More important today than ever.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you again, and I'll let you get back to work.
Very good. You guys have a great day, and hope to see you soon.